You're a parent yourself
Yes.
now. What is it like, or from those steps that you went through from an F to a distinction?
Yes.
What would you tell parents watching you? Their students, they have children
Yes.
that are struggling in certain areas right now,
Mm.
and they really don't know what will be the outcome at the end.
Yes.
What can they do? What did you do? What can they do?
Yeah. So, let me digress a little, but there is something remarkable I find about parenting.
Mm.
It's the most important job in the world. Even Barack Obama used to call it. It's the most important calling. All right. He was and this was the commander in chief of the U.S. Armed Forces, but he called parenting his most important job. And I find it remarkable that there is no formal school for it. In fact, even growing up, nobody tries to mentor you in parenting. So it's something you learn on the job, right?
Yes.
But I think one of the things that I've learned is, one, as a parent, you need tons and tons of patience with your children. All right. Number two, what you say to your kids matter. All right. Some of the things that were said to me growing up were not nice things, were not affirming things. All right. But I think parents should always try to firm up their kids. All right. Speak up the positives that they see. All right. Now that's not to suggest that you ignore the flaws.
Yes.
But if you always beating down on your child and then making them believe that the worst thing to have happened, you really then can't expect anything from them. All right. So you must be someone who they must know that you're the biggest cheerleader. Yes. Your some of your sharpest words should actually be words of praise and affirmation to say, okay, look, So even if they're not doing well, your words of censure and encouragement must be constructive. So obviously, if you're a parent, you don't have the option of giving up on your child, right? Yeah, but sometimes I think in the heat of the moment, or maybe because people don't know any better, or because they believe that being tough is the best parenting model, and you just end up destroying the child and building resentment in the child. You end up destroying whatever confidence is in the child. The child ends up believing that they are not good, they're not going to amount to anything, But I'm an example. I was able to turn it around, So the fact that someone is they're struggling in a particular subject does not necessarily mean that they can't improve. But parents, I think, also have to accept that not all children are going to be gifted similarly, and that's all right, Actually, when this other time when I was home at Ekwendeni and I was, digging through the family papers that my grandfather had maintained, including reports of my daddy, school reports of my father, I realized that he was a struggler in mathematics too, So I was like, okay, maybe this is not a family strength, Maybe it's not a family strength. So you also have to just accept the fact that your child may not be an all-rounder, perhaps. Maybe their strength may lie in languages and arts, or maybe not even they may not even ace it in the classroom, but they may be very good on the football pitch. The likes of Tabitha Chawinga showing us that to make it, you don't necessarily have to be a university graduate. You can excel in sports and stuff. Just a pity that maybe here we tend to be unipolar in our view of success. You have to do well in class. But you can be the greatest painter, So maybe you still need formal education, but you don't necessarily have to excel in algebra and stuff, right? So, yeah.
Great. Now, you are done with poesy. You're back home. What was it like now transitioning to college?
No, my first year was difficult. Yeah, it was very tough. But I think now it's when I've got a better and sharper perspective of what was going on in my life. I went to the university when I was, I think, around 17, 18. So just an adolescent kid. And, my confidence levels, self-esteem levels were all over the place. I was still trying to find, my feet in the world, trying to define myself as a man. My first year wasn't fun,
Let me hold you there, Kumbo, sorry. But take us through that stage where you're done with secondary school.
Yeah. Yes.
That year, did you have that gap year?
I did, yes. I did, because we sat for exams in, it was late 2002. Then immediately after I was done with my exams, I went to Lilongwe, where my mom was. I waited for, and I think once the results were out and I knew that I had qualified for at that time we used to have the entrance exams, university entrance exams. So I did the usual courses that these guys used to run, preparing for the entrance exams. Then once I had sat for the entrance exams, I went to Mbongweni. Okay, I went to Mbongweni and I stayed there for like 8 months or so. I was at Mbongweni.
Almost a year.
I was at the village. I was at the village.
What were your choices during the application process?
Okay, so my first choice was commerce, Bachelor of Commerce, and I got picked for that. Yeah, and then my second choice I think had been either social science or engineering. Yeah, but I think those were the three choices. But the first one was BCom, and they picked me.
You went to Polytechnic,
I went
then
to
move
Poly.
us now.
Yes.
First year, you're in Blantyre. Was it your first time in Blantyre?
No, it wasn't. I'd been to Blantyre a couple of times. Not necessarily stayed there, but I'd visited.
Yeah.
I had a couple of relatives there, and so I'd been in Blantyre, but I hadn't really. I think I hadn't been to the Polytechnic, so I didn't know where the Poly was. It was the first time to really, So everything was kind of new.
So Bachelor of Commerce, first year. What was life like now?
I mean, okay, so at a personal level, like I was saying, trying to navigate the later stages of my adolescence, it wasn't easy at all. I mean, the studies themselves, there was nothing remarkable about them. It's just that, I mean, one has to adapt to the new style of delivery because, lecturers have got different styles. Others would come in and then just talk like, it'd be like someone is presenting a TED talk. Others were still in the mode of teachers, Sunday school teachers who would try and, feed you with a lot of things. And then, of course, you need to then develop that initiative where you go and do research. And, I remember doing the first assignment. I needed to research on it. So one of the first academic or research papers that I read, I think it was entitled "The Situational Analysis of Poverty in Malawi," and it was all and then but I think by semester 2 we had gotten a grasp of what needed to be done. At that time, I was also a very strong born again Christian. All right. And so SCOM gave us grounding. I didn't feel like I needed to struggle in that area of my life. I just felt like I had a very stable base, and they had a very beautiful system where they would pair you with older students. Yeah. My mentor was Weston Gunda. He was a civil engineering student, brilliant guy. Too sad that we lost him a few years after he graduated from the University of Malawi. Yeah. So these are the guys who would that'd been around in university for like 6 calendar years or so, and so it was a bit easier for them to kind of
hold your hand.
And then just show you, say this is how. Yeah, but it was a mixed bag of experiences. Yeah.
At this point, when you were going into college, you already hatched that thought of becoming a lawyer?
No.
Or how did that come about?
No. It came in because I was so my struggle with all things arithmetic came back.
Okay, after the distinction, now you are in commerce, which is all mathematics.
Yes. I thought there was business numeracy and we were doing the calculus, all those things. And then the actual financial accounting itself, I was all right because, I passed well to make the cut because you would have a common year and then in year 2 they would split you. You would get into Bachelor of Accountancy or BBA, depending on how you perform, but also on preference. Yeah. But the default position was that if you did well in certain courses, then they'll give you the accountancy option first. It was up to you. You could decline it and go into the BBA class. So I made the cut, went into the BA class, but it wasn't really fun. I just felt like I was an average student, always lagging behind, having to ask my way around, and so I I didn't discuss it with anybody, but when I saw the call,
Yeah.
that you know, the Faculty of Law at Chansa College was calling for applications from those that might be interested. And at that time, we didn't even have the end of year grades.
Yes.
All right, but they said if you think
You can make it.
you just express interest, and then we'll check. I mean, if you do well, then we'll shortlist you, and I guess by the grace of God, I was shortlisted, and so it's not like I had gone into university with that idea that I was going to, It's one thing that is messed up about this, this country, and I hope maybe we can change that. The idea of mentorship is kind of alien to us, You need, you need, I think, professional figures in the lives of younger people. And people can ask questions. Okay, what does it take to become a lawyer? All right, or why? What options does this career path offer me? Why would I be a lawyer? Why would I be a footballer? A statistician, an economist? A media practitioner like yourself. But there's very little of that happening. And I remember when I was even choosing, if you had asked me, okay, why do you want to do social science? Of course, I wanted to do economics, but I had not interacted with any economists. I didn't have any idea what that option would entail in terms of, job openings, engineering. I had an idea perhaps, but at that time, the University of Malaya was only offering 3 specializations, so you would either end up as a mechanical, or civil or electrical engineer. And I didn't know what really, all those disciplines entailed. Why I had to, if you went into civil engineering, what exactly it would mean for you,
doing
and so on and so forth. Yeah. So, but then and everyone was like, no, go to BCom. I was like, okay, why should I do BCom?